Chapter 61. Bitch. I'll fucking kill you. Mr. Chansey screamed as he touched his scalded face. He was so furious he started pouncing on Dahlia. Her quick reflexes allowed her to deliver a swift but deadly kick to Mr. Chansey's crotch. Ah! He cried out in pain immediately and started rolling on the floor with his hands over his bruised member, his face turning a darker shade of purple by the second. You disgust me. She spat before turning around to leave the room. This caused her to bump into Dustin, who had been eavesdropping by the door the whole time. What are you doing here? She asked angrily. Nothing, I was just making sure you were doing okay in there, he replied while shrugging his shoulders. His eyes instantly perked up at the sight of Mr. Chansey, who was writhing in pain on the floor. It was a good thing that she'd managed to mess him up, because if he'd stepped in, he'd surely make sure that Mr. Chansey won't be using his hands ever again for the remainder of his life. We're done here. Let's go, she snapped without any explanation, then started strutting out of the room in her high heels. She was in a sour mood. You fucking stop right where you are now. Mr. Chansey suddenly bellowed with a fierce expression before continuing. Running away like a coward after beating someone up. What do you take me for? Under his orders, several security guards immediately started forming a human barricade in front of the main door to prevent the two of them from leaving. You bitch. How dare you kick me? I'll make sure you never see the light of day again. He yelled as he stormed up to her with a hand raised, ready to strike her. Dustin intercepted his blow without much effort. Who do you think you are? How dare you meddle in my affairs? You'd better get away from me if you know what's good for you. Mr. Chansey hissed. You'd better apologize to her now before I rip your mouth open. Dustin threatened with an icy expression. Like hell I will. Mr. Chansey spat, his rage growing by the second. He swung his fist at Dustin, but Dustin managed to dodge it and delivered a heavy slap to his face instead. This caused Mr. Chansey's humongous frame to stumble several feet. The blow had disfigured his face, and when he opened his mouth, some of his teeth fell out. Everyone at the scene was dumbfounded that Mr. Chansey was sent flying. No one had expected Dustin to be so vicious. To think that he had slapped Mr. Chansey in front of everyone. DLD, he have no idea that this man was the manager of Eastern River Bank. An influential man with power, money, and a vast network. To offend such a person was simply asking for trouble. How dare you hit me? Upon noticing the few loose teeth in his palm, Mr. Chansey's face twisted into a scowl. So what if I just beat you up? Do I have to make an appointment first? Dustin said indifferently. Do you even fucking know who my backers are, you little shit? It's the Spanners. The nerve of you to even lay a finger on me, do you want to die so badly? Mr. Chansey screeched before pulling out his phone to call for backup. Dahlia frowned slightly before making a call herself. 15 minutes later, Florence brought a team of security personnel and made her entrance in the flashiest fashion imaginable. Standing beside her was a handsome man in a clean suit. The man seemed graceful and elegant and had an aristocratic air to him. Matt Laney. Dahlia gasped, her eyes wide as she stared at him in shock. He used to be her upperclassman in school and had even tried to court her for a short while in the past. But when he'd left the country, the two stopped seeing each other for a long time. She hadn't expected him to return so soon, much less with her mother. Dahlia. How are you? You're not hurt, right? Florence asked worriedly the moment she entered through the door. She was scared that her daughter had gotten hurt. I'm fine, Mom. There's no need to worry, Dahlia replied as she shook her head slightly. Long time no see, Dahlia, Matt greeted first, as polite as ever. Yeah, long time no see, Dahlia responded with a small nod. Although she was still somewhat taken aback by his sudden appearance, she decided to regard him as a school friend for now. I heard that you came across some trouble lately, so that's why I rushed all the way here with your mom. So if there's anything you need our help with, just let me know, he said with a grin. His words were calm but full of confidence. I know, right? Nothing is impossible with Matt around. I don't suppose you caught wind of the incident where our family got arrested. Thanks to Matt, we managed to get out safe and sound. Not only that, but he also caught that bastard Chris and recovered all the money we were cheated out of. Just look at him. He should be the first person that comes to mind when you think of a capable man. Florence yammered on, praising him every other sentence. Dahlia could only muster a strained smile upon hearing all of that. Thanks, she mumbled. It's no biggle. No need to make me sound so great, Matt grinned. What are you doing here, Rhys? Florence quizzed as she shifted her gaze to see Dustin standing next to her. She looked somewhat disgusted upon seeing him. Mom, it was Dustin who saved me, Dahlia explained. He was the one who saved you. HMPH, it was more likely that he hurt you instead. Florence's expression and gaze turned cold as she said, if it wasn't for this man who offended Mr. Woods, our family could have avoided all that undeserved misfortune in the first place. Mom, this whole thing started because of me. It has nothing to do with Dustin, Dahlia corrected. I can't believe you're still taking his side even now. You will regret it sooner or later. Florence exclaimed, almost losing her cool. If not for Matt standing beside her, she would have flung all sorts of expletives at her already. Hey, where did you guys come from again? Do I look like I'm invisible to you all? At this time, Mr. Chauncey, who was standing in a corner, finally lost his cool. Who are you? Matt asked while glancing at him from the corner of his eye. I'm the manager of this bank. Mr. Chauncey barked as he shot him a glare. I demand that these two people pay the price for offending me today. Do you know who I fucking am? How dare you speak to me like that? Matt spat in response as his expression grew cold. I don't care who the hell you are. As long as your nose is in my business, I'll make sure you never see the light of day too. Mr. Chauncey threatened viciously. As soon as he finished saying that, two black cars drove up to the entrance of Eastern River Bank. Immediately after, an army of buff thugs rushed into the building, their leader being an intimidating man who wore a trench coat and held a cigar in his hand. The way he walked made him look mighty imposing. Hey, my backer has finally arrived. None of you will be able to escape today. Mr. Chauncey guffawed wickedly. It wasn't like he had any connections or a good background, so how dare he act so cocky? Holy shit. Isn't that Sir Zims? What is he doing here? Someone whispered. Sir Zims. The new chairman of the Dre Group. Another piped up. It's him. I heard that he was the one who was ruthless enough to kill Sir Spanner in order to climb to the top. One exclaimed. That guy's dead meat. I can't believe he got involved with Sir Zims, another gossiped. Whispers erupted from the crowd after everyone got a look at the man in the trench coat. Some even gave Dustin a few sympathetic looks afterward. Sir Zim's infamous name could be heard everywhere these days, up to the point where the mere mention of his name was enough to make anyone turn pale. Dustin hummed. He couldn't help but get an odd feeling in his stomach upon looking at the imposing man in front of him. And that was because he just realized that Mr. Chauncey's supposed backer was his own newly acquired follower, Mason Zims.